5 First Alert forecast.
Another day with a cool start, so make it 2 for 2 this week where temperatures started off pretty cold and really didn't warm up, and that will continue throughout the rest of this afternoon. We do have some minor rain chances going into the day both tomorrow and then lingering for Thursday before we start to warm up and see some sunshine by the weekend. Right now, it's very chilly outside, only 34 degrees, but it only feels like 25. Earlier this morning, some wind chills in the teens, so it has been a cold start to the day. You probably wouldn't think that we're now getting closer towards the middle of April already, and temperatures not really reflecting that at the moment, but we will start to warm up towards the end of the week. Now, satellite and radar right now not really showing much. There's maybe a few minor snowflakes in parts of Michigan right now. There's a very small chance that maybe 1 or 2 light flakes could find their way here into some of the northern portions of 21 country, but really we should trend dry, maybe a little bit cloudy throughout the start of the afternoon. Do want to mention that there still are a couple aerial flood warnings in effect as a result of last week's rain, but most of which are just in effect until we start to see some of those water levels dying down, with conditions remaining dry throughout the start of this week, and the only real rain chance being tomorrow. We should start to see these flood warnings getting expired towards the end of the week as we trend to drier for the weekend. Now, in terms of those rain chances, outside of just tomorrow and then lingering into parts of the day on Thursday, the rest of the next 7 days trends very dry, which should be good news after last week's multiple rounds of storms that brought a large amount of rain to some portions of the area. So luckily, it does look like that we will be trending drier, which should mean that conditions improving in terms of those flood concerns. Now, in terms of that one rain chance, tomorrow morning will start off dry. It does not look like the system will arrive until past lunchtime. Rain showers to start off with temperatures that will be cooling down with a cold front crossing. It is very possible where maybe 1 or 2 areas right along that Michigan state line could see a couple snow flurries mixing in, but it does look like at the moment temperatures should be too warm, at least closer here to Fort Wayne, where we probably won't end up seeing much in terms of flurries flying around. Not really expecting to see much impacts from that. So really just expect to see some lighter rain showers that could linger into the morning on Thursday. And then outside of that, we trend dry and sunshine will return for the end of the week and the weekend. Now, in terms of those temperatures, this afternoon, we'll be lucky if we hit 40 degrees just because, again, it's been a cold start to the week. Overnight, we will drop back down into the 20s. By the time we get into tomorrow afternoon, this is why we won't really end up seeing much in terms of an impact if there is any kind of snow flurries flying around. Temperatures into the mid-40s, it'll be way too warm to really sustain that. And then even later tomorrow night, some of those northern counties still will end up right around about mid to upper 30s, so it still will just be a little bit too warm to support snow really falling and sticking. So if you do see some flurries flying around, don't be shocked, but it's not going to really make that much of an impact. Then by Thursday, we're going to be sitting on this waiting game of how far this warm front can reach. Right now, it's expecting just to reach right around Fort Wayne. So some of our northern counties might end up staying a little bit cooler for Thursday, whereas the rest of us into the 50s, potentially even near 60, depending on how high that warm front can reach. In terms of that rain total, most of us expecting less than half an inch. That's good news for those areas still dealing with some minor flooding concerns as a result of last week's storms. The rest of the week trending upwards. See temperatures back up into the 50s for the end of the week. How about sunny skies and temperatures into the mid to upper 50s, low 60s to end the week? We could even warm up more come Monday, anywhere between the 60s, potentially even getting as high as the 70s in some long-range forecasts. So we could be looking at a very nice warm-up for next week after what has been a brutally cold start to this week.
Yes, and I have not conducted a scientific poll, but I think a lot of people are talking about this warm-up. It's the buzz. All right, Michael, thanks for everything.
Yep.
Let's get to some news about your money now. Owners of Instagram unveiled new protections being added to teen accounts. In the coming months, teens younger than